everybody. Today we have Matchbox Mainline Mix 8 for 2024. A little late, I know that. I thought I was waiting on this, but this is actually Mix 9. So yeah, this is one per case, so for some reason it's super hard to find. I don't know, this casting's been released many times. It shouldn't be this hard to find it, but it was one per case. But this, good thing I know now, but this will be for Mix 9. Mix 8 has 5 brand new castings, actually, if you want to count the Tuk Tuk here. Tuk Tuk's pretty cool, but we're going to go first because it's not really licensed. Tuk Tuk isn't a brand. So, yeah, we're going to go first. Then we got 3 recolors and then 4 licensed new castings. And I think all of these Diecast Car Guru was able to help me out with, so thank you very much for that. And okay, so it does. Is the roof supposed to come off this? Hold on. I don't know. It just falls off. Like, it looks like it's pinned, so it looks like it's supposed to come off. And that might be something from Indiana Jones. I don't know. I didn't watch the movie, but yeah, super strange. The little tuk-tuk, these are very popular forms of transportation in India. Tuk-tuk is the kind of slang name, street name. I don't know what the manufacturers are of them. I don't know if they're custom built because that kind of looks like a motorcycle frame and gas tank or something. But yeah, but this one is obviously not from India because that's like Middle Eastern. Is there a word for that writing style? Arabic? Or is that the one? I don't know. I'm super terrible in stuff like that. By no offense of my ignorance, but I think yeah, it's pronounced, when you say it, it's Arabic, but I think when it's written, it's also Arabic. That probably just sounds super dumb. So yeah, when it's English, it's English both ways. Yeah. You know what? I'm done. I'm not a college professor, but yeah, this thing's pretty cool. And I like the fact, so okay, so it's a clear piece riveted to this black tarp, which is interesting because I'm surprised they didn't just make the whole thing clear and just paint that black, but that might be too complicated. All right, let's get into the recolors here before we get into the new castings, of course, per tradition. We got the Cadillac CT5V. A wonderful casting. Whoa, how long ago was it released? 2 years ago? And this is a gorgeous blue version. Matches the Nissan Ariya pretty nicely. Hey, where's that? Just filmed that video. Let's see. Boom. Oh, yeah. Little more pearl in the Cadillac. Well, maybe not pearl. I don't think it's really. I think it's more like Spectraflame. I don't. Oh, there's metallic in there. It's very fine. Very nice headlight details. Cadillac emblem looks good. This is just the new silver black design without the red and gold in it. Same thing on the rear. Taillights look good. CT5 on the plate and on the trunk nameplate. Looking very good. Black interior, I assume leather. And there's your base. Great to see that one back. That's the lineup now is pretty much mostly castings from the past 5 years. There's not much older Golden Age castings running around unless they're in a 5-pack, which is kind of strange. Yeah, most of the Golden Age castings still exist, but they don't use them very often for how popular they are. Maybe they've run out of ideas or whatever, or just trying to keep the new stuff relevant. Love it when they release the 720S, though. One of my favorite supercars. I know it's kind of a dull statement to say, well, it's not really an exciting car. You know, it's just the base model, right? There's no aero package on it, but I like it. I think it's very clean. And Matchbox does great releases of it besides the mint green. I didn't really care for it, but the rest of them, The turquoise is going to be my favorite always. Love the purple and black rims though. 720S on the rear, taillights. Got just the blackout paneling. Headlights always look good on this one. I think this one always gets the same decals, which is also another thing, probably why most of the castings are super recent. They probably just changed the paint color, but then just stick it through the same decal prints. So it's probably still stamping the same prints from the first release. I don't know how long they hold up, but it's just like rubber, isn't it? It just comes down, boop. Which is how they're able, they can probably get all of these with one press. I don't know. But the blue and purple actually look pretty good together. Pretty cool lineup. And then, actually it's been a minute since we've seen this guy. He was released early last year. So, now mid-23, it's almost been a year and a half since it's been released. But this is the AMC Eagle 1980. A totally awesome new casting. I think it was last year. This was another one of my favorites when it debuted. Debuted in that like copper orange color with the wood paneling. And now, like I said, same decal print as the McLaren. Or I'm pretty sure it's the same decal print, but now it's this metallic black following that slow theme of Matchbox, just with this heavy metallic black, like that. And that's why I draw attention to it, because it's not like a regular metallic black. It is super heavy on that silver metallic. And like the Subaru Forester wasn't, because it had blue metallic in it. But I'm just specifically these heavy black metallic cars. This one's not as glossy as most of them are. But yeah, this one is mostly focused on that wood trim, which is amazing. Great detailing. Love the chrome trim around the windows. No taillights, no headlights, but I mean the mold's there so you can paint them yourself. But and of course I love these wheels on there. It's pretty much a station wagon with a lift kit, and it's super cool. Which is pretty much what the whole ideal of a crossover SUV was when the Subaru Forester came out as the first. I mean, this could arguably be the first, but on paper and what is it? Motor Trend's gonna say is that the Subaru Forester was the first crossover SUV, in which the true crossover SUV, because the RAV4 has really always been a full SUV because it's tall. The Forester remained wagon-like up until my gen came out in 2009. But the RAVs were always super tall. I don't know. It's weird when you get into that stuff, but all I can tell you is that the Kia Soul is not a crossover SUV, and Motor Trend will tell you that. It was Motor Trend, or maybe it was Car and Driver. One of them was trying to pass the Kia Soul off. Top 5 best-selling SUVs. And like, no, that's not an SUV. Kia Soul was never an SUV. I don't know what it is. It's just not that. But something totally different than a Kia Soul, the Morgan Plus 4. Now, supposedly this is a newer vehicle. And that's why I love Morgans, because this car looks like a car from the 60s. But I don't think it is. And also, this is a heavy for a tiny car. But finally, we get to add another Morgan to the Matchbox collection. If like I said earlier, talk about the Golden Age. There was one that come out of the Golden Age. I think that's the only one. I always call it like the British Buick Riviera, because it's got that long boat tail to it. I can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, and then there's Morris. Okay, yeah, Morris is different. Never mind. But yeah, Morgan. Headlights look really good. You got your turn signals down below. Now this has amber turn signals. Is this a... No, it's not, because it's right-hand drive. I was going to say, is this a US spec? But if it is a newer vehicle, I don't think it'd be US spec. I don't know much about these, but I think these are like currently produced vehicles. Like the Morgan 3-wheeler was produced within the last 10 years. Now it might be an homage to something, But that car is, I thought it was way older than it was. But that's the charm of Morgan, and I love it, and I hope we see more of that. I think it's a little easier for EV brands to do those homages like this in a different sort of vein, but the Opal Astra, we'll get to that in a second. Morgan on the plate. Taillights look good. And yeah, these wheels are just perfect for it. The window piece seems like it sticks up a little high, and the seats seem big, but this must be a really small car. And I'm sure that's accurate. But when you see something like this, you think it's long, it's huge, but then the seats are big, and you're like, well, maybe just the rest of the car is small. There's a Morgan. Here we have the Opal Astra. Yeah, well, so we have homages done good, and then, I'm not a great fan of the new Supra, and we'll get into that, but I don't think it... I mean, the Supra's never been a great-looking car, in my opinion. 3rd gen is where it peaked. 4th gen... You know what? We're just going to save that thought for later, because we got the Opal Astra here, which, of course, we used to get in the US as the Saturn Astra, and I feel like I just went through this whole spiel in my Welly video, by the way. If you like Welly, check that out. No, I totally did not try to pull a Lamley thumbnail, but also I did really want to try a Lamley thumbnail. So I recreated sort of kind of his style. But yeah, this is how you do an homage. I love that hatchbacks are still a thing in Europe because they aren't here. Unless you bring in the Kia Soul. But yeah, this thing, like, looking at this, it has some of those Saturn qualities to it. Just the plainness to it, and I think that was more of an Opal thing anyway. But this feels like it could be a new Saturn. It also kind of, that sail panel looks like a Kia Niro, but forgetting that, I don't know. You just look at this car and it's like, yeah, that's something from the early 2000s. And I think this is electric. It might be a hybrid, whatever that is. That's a bunch of wires. I don't know, Matchbox is known for copying and pasting bases, so if that came from anything else, but that looks like a battery. But yeah, headlights look good. One thing to note, though, it's got different wheels on the packaging here. If I bring my Mercedes back around, it's got the new multi-spokes. Where did I put the Mercedes? Oh, I probably threw it on the ground. Oh, no, I didn't. It's got those new multi-spokes that the Mercedes has, which, for some reason, I can tell that's what they are here when they're spinning, but those are the OEM rims on this package. I don't know who's designing the rims for Matchbox packagings, and the Supra, for some reason, has, like, what are those, wet sports? That's what they look like. Deep dish wet sports. That's not those. At least the Infinity's right. But whatever. Yeah, I just love the Opal. Something about it just, I don't know. Maybe when I find the correct wording, I'll come back to that idea. Astra across the rear. And maybe that's just because I know it's the continuation of the Saturn Astra, of Opal Astra from a decade ago. Yeah, wow, it's that old already. I remember when that car was new. I remember, here we go, the not so old person saying that they're old. But I remember when that car was like brand new and it got destroyed in the Transformers movie. It got like a second of spotlight, then bam, it just got ripped open. And ripped in half, cut in half. Yeah. So bye-bye Saturn Astra. But that's, well, how many do they make? Like 10,000? They already killed one and it wasn't even on sale yet. Yeah, love this thing though. Before I go on to more rants, I didn't really thoroughly review that thing. I think this is great, and if I were to keep going, I would find something terrible to say about it. And I don't want to say anything terrible about it because I like it. The wheel port, the stance is awesome. I love that. All right, next, the Supra. So weird that Matchbox all of a sudden decides to do the Mark IV Supra now that it's kind of obsolete and that it's on the chopping block to being discontinued. Like, it's that close to being discontinued. I don't care for the car. I mean, the style, it's not ugly, but I think it could have been styled better. And not so much in... I think they tried to make it look too much like a Mark IV, which was their mistake, because the Mark IV was the worst looking Supra. I love the Mark III. The Mark IV doesn't even look like the same car. And here for the JDM kids, which I can kind of include myself into that, but I like much more than just Skyline, NSX, RX-7, and Supra. But when you put all those cars together, if you put the R34, the NSX first gen pop-ups, FDRX7, and the Mark IV Supra in a lineup, they're all sharp, aggressive looking, sleek, and then you got the Supra, which is, everything's round. It looks thicker. It's got the round headlight. It just doesn't fit in with the rest of them, and I don't care for the style. Okay, why don't we talk? Yeah, you're staring at my Band-Aid while I talk about the Mark IV Supra, which isn't even relevant here. But I think you can see what I'm saying. And even if you throw in an Evo and a 22B in there, I've still taken them over the Mark IV. Though the powertrain on the Mark IV is possibly superior. People are going to fight me on that too, but 2Js are good. I like the 2J in the Lexus GS. Toyota Aristo, if you're cultured. Okay. Let's see what the Supra is. So first off, it is small. It should be small. The Hot Wheels one is massive. I don't have one on hand. The premium one, that is. The Pandem one is tiny, which is really weird because they're supposed to be the same car and they don't look like it. I think this is better than the Hot Wheels Premium. It might sit a little high, but it's okay. Headlights look great. A lot better than the Hot Wheels headlight prints. Jeez. Toyota badge on the front nose. There's your gold 5 spokes. Very interesting touch on this one. I love like the dark metallic green with the gold 5 spoke, like bullet spec, quote unquote. I know it's not a Mustang. Tail lights look good. Toyota badge. Supra Mark V on the license plate. That's too many letters for a New York plate. So I don't know where this car is registered. GR on the bumper. Yeah, this thing has a pretty big rear bumper, just realizing that. But it's also a small car, so. No A-pillars. They're part of the window piece. So when you take the window off of it, it's going to have a floating roof pretty much. Yeah, there you go. Mark IV Supra. But Mark IV Supra does not hold in comparison to the almighty Infiniti QX80, one of 5 Infinitis still being produced. I don't know what to say. Poor Infiniti. They produce 5 cars in the US currently. And this is one of them, which just got an update, which is nice to see. That's not going away. This one is going to be your V8 model. The new one for 2025 is going to be the twin-turbo V6. Pretty much built in the same vein as the GTR engine, which is crazy. It's a V6, but it makes more power than the V8. Probably because the V8 here is naturally aspirated, while the V6 is twin turbocharged, which is crazy. But I kind of want one. Not after I see the $100,000 price tag, but yeah, this is probably the best Infiniti SUV you can buy. The other one's just a Pathfinder. I know this is Armada, and the Pathfinder's fine too. And the Infiniti version of the what is it? The QX60, QX70, one of the two. The QX50 and the QX55 are just stupid. I hate them. One of them I'm pretty sure is a Rogue Sport, or Qashqai if you're cultured. And the Mercedes thing's dead already, although they still try to advertise it. And then there's the Q50, which we all love, but it's dead after next year. This year? I don't remember. That's unfortunate. I don't know if the Skyline version's going away. Well, I don't know if you tuned into this video to hear me rant about real cars that don't mean anything to these Matchbox models, but yeah, here we are. Infiniti badge on the grill there. Grille detailing is very nice. Love the chrome trim around it. The headlight detailing is perfect. Like, that is... Matchbox, I think, has stepped up their game with the headlight graphics. Just, that is very intricate. I love that. And, of course, that's probably all designed on a computer, too. It's not like they can copy and paste it. It's got to make it fit the car proportions, too, because these aren't perfectly scaled down. And, you know, the taillights, I don't know what this is. Why does it look like a drop of blood? From this angle, it looks gorgeous. Very nice. But it just gets a little loose over here. I'm not too big of a fan of the completely clear windows, which is talking way too fast than I can actually think. Wish it was a little smoked. Give it more of a luxury feel. I love the chocolate interior, which has apparently been a thing lately with Matchbox. QX80 on the back here, 4-wheel drive, infinity reflectors at the bottom. Oh, and here's some trivia, of course. I mentioned that this is also a Nissan Armada. What is it called in the Middle East? And yes, it still exists. You might not realize it. But yeah, they call this the Nissan Patrol in the Middle East, which is the Safari. I think we got it in the U.S. as the Safari for a couple years. No, we didn't. The Safari is the JDM name, isn't it? We never got the Safari in the U.S. We got the Toronto as the Pathfinder. Love the first-gen Toronto. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, here's your QX80. Again, starting to talk about cars that mean nothing to these. But let's line them all up. Which new casting do you like the most? The mostest. The Infinity, of course, is my pick, which is why I saved it for last. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's make a better looking thumbnail. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next one. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.